Hi, I'm Liv, and in this video we're going to be reading authors that are new to me. I've got so many books from authors that I have never heard of before, and this year's goal was to read authors that I've never heard of before. I don't want to stick to the same authors that I do all the time. I feel like last year I was a culprit of doing this. Like, I always read books from Lucy Score, Elsie Silver. I didn't really branch out and really try anybody else's books, and now I just really want to read other books. I really want to just read more authors, branch out, experience other writing. So I've got my picks here. They may change. The first one is by Melissa Weisner, and this is a book I found in the works, and I don't know what it was about it, but the cover drew me in, and then I read the back and I was like, oh my god, yes, I love these types of books. So this is the cover. This is Wish I Were Here, and this book is kind of like Ashley Poston style in my opinion. So we've got our main character Catherine, and Catherine is a planner to a T. Like, everything in her life is planned out perfectly. She does sometimes wish that her life was a bit different, and that sometimes that she was a totally different person. And so one day, her entire identity is gone. So what I mean by this is she doesn't exist. There's no medical records of her. Her ID is gone. What else does it say here? Her social security number, driver's license, academic record, all disappear. There's no record of her ever existing. She ends up enlisting the help of her doorman, who is called Luca. She ends up bending all the rules with him, taking meetings in smoky bars, to breaking into hospital record rooms, having a surprisingly amount of fun. Catherine unravels the truth behind her identity's disappearance. She may discover that the real Catherine has been missing for a lot longer than she realised. So I thought this book is like self-discovery, and I love those types of romances where it's like, not only are you falling in love, but you're also falling in love with yourself. And other books like this, for me, was one of my favourites, which I recently read, which was Love of My Afterlife. That book was such a good book. It was romance, but at the same time she was like finding herself. But this would be really good, and I've never ever read anything by this author. I've got another one that is probably gonna be a shock. I've never read anything by this woman. So this is one by Hannah Bonham Young, and this is Out on a Limb. I have never read this book, but I've seen a few people read it. The reason I never read this book is because the trope scares me, because it is a trope that in the past I have hated, but I feel like that's because it's been done wrong. So I feel like maybe I'll enjoy it this time more. So the trope it's got is unplanned pregnancy. I don't usually like these tropes, and I didn't like it in Heartless, which was by Elsie Silver. I just felt like it really ruined the plot for me. I just never have liked it since that book, and so I want to give it another go, because it's been like way over a year since I read that book and read a pregnancy trope. Fred is her full name, and she's always been wildly independent, not one to be coddled for her limb difference. Wynne has spent most of her life trying to prove that she can do it all on her own. With some minor adjustments, she's done just fine. Hooking up in a costume party with the incredibly charming Beau changes everything. Wynne finds herself pregnant and decides to keep the baby. Whilst Beau is surprisingly elated to step up to the plate, Wynne is unsure of whether she can handle this new challenge. Together, Wynne and Beau decide to get to know one another as friends and nothing more, while they embark on this parenting journey together. But as they both should know by now, life rarely goes according to plan. So I love this idea. I also feel like I've never read any of Hannah's writing before, but from her covers it seems like she's very like inclusive and includes a very diverse amount of people, and that is something that in my chatty video, I didn't expect people to really like that video. I did a like tropes I'm sick of video. In that video I did have a big rant about the fact that there's not really much diversity in books, and so I really want to give this author a go, because I do credit her for the amount of diversity she uses in her books. Like, for instance, there's a book called like Next to You, and the woman is like fully tattooed, like sleeves and all, and I feel like that usually is portrayed as just the guys having, like, there's never ever like a feminine woman who's like fully tattooed. I mean, I'm excited for this one. I've seen some good reviews about it, and I've seen people really enjoy it, and so I just want to give it a go. The last book I have in mind is one on my Kindle. This one is one that is incredibly hyped up, and it is a fantasy. So wait, let me turn the brightness way up so you can actually see this book. But this book is The Crimson Moth. I have never heard of this book really, like I'd never looked into this author or anything. I saw a lot of people recommending this book. This is what the cover looks like. It says on here, a moth to flame, a witch to burn. So what I know about this book is that it's about a witch hunter and a witch, and it's like fake dating because they're trying to find out information about each other's like people. So the witch hunter is trying to find out information about the witch, like about the witches through her, and yet she thinks she's double-crossing him by doing the same thing, but they don't know each other are doing this. Dream enemies to lovers. It's a fantasy. I've never really read a book about witches that I've enjoyed, which I'm so sad about because I've always wanted to read like a witch book and really enjoy it, but I've never read one that I've enjoyed. You want to read a good witch book, and people said this one's good, and I did say on like I think it was a YouTube short I did, these are books that like, should I give a go? And loads of people were like, yes, you need to read The Heartless Hunter or Crimson Moth. It's the tiniest up here in the world, but I just read the author's note and I feel like attached to Hannah now. Like I feel like I what's the word? I feel like I not know her, but I resonate with her now. Like I feel like I understand what the book is going to be about and like what she intends the author to feel, the reader to feel. And I love when an author does an author's note because I feel like you get to know the author more, and I feel like that's important in books, especially when you're like, it's your first book that an author's doing. The sizzling, by the way, I'm making pancakes. I have done a tandem read. Like I'm not far into the books, but I have started my tandem read, and I'm really happy I'm doing it actually because I feel like I'm like enjoying both books whilst like not getting burnt out by either of them. I haven't even explained which books I'm on about. I have started The Crimson Moth on my Kindle, and I have started Out on a Limb. Dude, I'm loving these books so much. It is. They are so good. I feel like I should talk about Out on a Limb first because that's when I started first. I'm about to start tabbing this, which if that doesn't tell you something, I don't know what will. If I tab a book, it means that it's hit me. Like it's really hit me and resonated with me on a different level. I'm currently midway through chapter, I'm at page 42, and I am eating this book up. It's so good. I feel like the banter is hilarious. It's so funny and humorous. I love both characters, Bo and Win. I think they're both so funny, and you can tell that the author knows her shit. The author is somebody who has a physical disability. She has I can't figure out the words for what I'm trying to say because my brain's just your brain buffers. That's where I'm at right now. She basically has the same disability that our female main character has, who is called Win. You can tell she knows her stuff. Like I think that this book is just hitting really hard because kind of taken experiences in her life and made it into a humorous situation. We've currently had like a party, and it's set in like a Halloween party, and I really enjoyed that. We got introduced to a couple that I know are in Out of the Woods, which I've also got that book because it was just too pretty in the works. I loved description on the back. I was just really hooked. With this book, we're just about at a point where they're having like a one-night stand, and I'm gonna say that it's not really a spoiler because we know that they end up having a unplanned pregnancy. So at that point, and I'm loving the way it's all written. I think that it's just written so real. Like it's funny, it's humorous, little things that she thinks is just so funny, where she has these like inner thoughts and she's like, what am I doing? Like there was a bit where she reached for some food at the party and she was like, hopefully no one's counting how many of this I've eaten, because they'd be offended at how many of these tiny mini things I've eaten. All things like that I just found really funny, and I'm just really enjoying this book basically. We have The Crimson Moth. I'm obsessed. I didn't expect it to be this good. Like you guys did not tell me it was going to be this good. Like truly, I'm impressed. And I want to say I was really apprehensive about reading this book, if I'm honest, because I know it's a fantasy, obviously. And so fantasies for me, I always think of the fact that they usually have like a like world building section, especially when it's like a new fantasy. And so I was waiting for that world building, and I was like, oh my god, no, I don't know if I can get through that. I don't know if I can push through, because it's usually like 100 pages or so. But no, we've instantly been thrown into it all, and I love that. I love when a fantasy does that. It's always my favorite types of fantasies, is when you just get thrown into the drama, and we've really been thrown into it. We know the conflict. I mean, I'm only like 40 pages in and I know what's happening. UK cover is different to the American cover, so I just want to show you the UK cover. In the UK it's called The Crimson Moth. In America, I think like Canada and things, it's called Heartless Hunter. So they are both the same book, if you're wondering. I'm at chapter 4 and I'm at page 24. So far we've been explained very quickly in like, I'd say like 5 pages, the way that this is all working. And so in this book we found out that the queens were witches, and they got basically murdered by witch hunters who, as I said, murdered them because they were magic. Now, magic used to be this thing that was beloved, and it was seen as like a status to have magic, and now it's a thing that you get hunted down for. And these people who are witches and have magic abilities, they have markings on them which show that they are witches. It's like these markings can be used to identify them, so it's dangerous. I like our main character. I think she's great. I'm really intrigued by her, and she's called Rune. And then we've got our male character called Gideon, who is our love interest, I'm guessing, later on, but they also are going to have like this hatred for each other. Now, when I say this is enemies to lovers, I don't mean like a bit of like, oh, I don't like you. I mean this is going to be like hatred to lovers, like absolute hatred. So you've got Gideon, who is a witch hunter. He's actually a witch hunter who has hunted the most witches and killed the most witches. So we've got that, and then we've got our main character being a witch, so it's going to be hate. And I think if you're going to do enemies to lovers, I always think really go for it. Really get in there and do proper hate if you're going to do it in a fantasy. Yeah, so we've had some perspectives from both of them. So Rune is the Crimson Moth. She is this person who is getting out the witches when she can, and she has like sources that help her find out the information. And so she is friends with this guy who is somebody who is helping her. He's called Alexander, and his brother is Gideon, the witch hunter. She is wanting to be able to save more witches, but Gideon is wanting to hunt down the Crimson Moth and capture more witches. And so he's got a reasoning, by the way, which we don't know yet, and I don't know if we're going to find out anytime soon, but he's got a reasoning for hating witches. He's got like a scar from one of them, so there's obviously some backstory to the like a reason into why he hates witches, but we've not been explained any of that. Rune is like thought to be loyal by like the revolution or whatever. They believe that she's loyal because of something she did in the beginning, which I don't want to explain because it was literally 10 pages in and it got me. Like, I got shocked and I was like, what the hell? Kristen really managed to get me. Like, she really managed to get me. I think I'm going to stick with Crimson Moth for a bit. I think I'm going to stick with this one for a bit. Maybe read to page like 50 or something. I am enjoying it, but I might read a little bit more of this and then I may move on to this. But I am enjoying both. It just depends what I want to absorb for a bit, if I want a paperback or if I want a Kindle. I'm reading HiI'mLiv right now, and I was trying to get to like page 120 or something, just like get a good chunk read right this second, and I'm midway through a page. I'm like about to get to page 100. I'm at like 97, and if you've read this book you'll know what I'm on about, but the scene has happened with Beau, and like where we found out like a bit of a fact about him, about his medical stuff. I did not see that coming. Like, I actually had to put the book down for a minute and I was like, like I was actually tearing up. I don't even know what, I feel like really attached to these characters. They've been written so well, they feel so lifelike and so real that I'm really attached to them. So Hannah's done a really good job with this book, and I'm flying through it. It's definitely an emotional one. Updates on both books. I'm still reading both books like tandem reading. I'm really enjoying it. So we've got Crimson Moth on here that we'll talk about first. I paid 127 and I'm really enjoying it. I'm really invested, to be honest. Like, I didn't think I'd be this invested, but I'm really getting into it. The plot is really good, and how many pages are in this whole book? It's 410, and I'm honestly so hooked and so gripped. The stakes are so high in this book, like so high. We've got so much information to do with like what the witches can do. So we have a lot of information about blood magic, how it works. It's been explained to us in a way that's like just woven into the story. It's not like world building. We've not got like chapters and chapters and chapters of world building. It's just kind of woven into the plot. I like that. Gideon's clearly got some secrets that he's holding, and I like that. It's making me interested, it's keeping me gripped, and we've definitely not found out or getting any we're not getting closer to finding out what these secrets are, but we know that Gideon is definitely keeping secrets on why he hates witches so much. It's something that happened to him in the past. I love Rune. I think she's such a good character. She really went through it with like what she had to do to prove her loyalty to the like revolution, or I can't remember what it's called, like the revolution or the re-establishment, I can't remember, but to really prove her loyalty because she's a witch, and she had to prove it because she was related to a witch, but no one knows that she's a witch. All that was like so brutal, and what she had to do to try and prove that she was loyal to everybody. I'm not sure where I'm going to aim to get with this book. I'm thinking I'm going to probably stick to this book a bit today. I'm really loving it. Maybe get to page 200, I don't know, maybe go a bit further, but I really am liking it. And I'm also reading Out on a Limb, which I'm almost at halfway, which I'm so impressed. I've also been tabbing because this book is so emotional. So this book, I'm at page 171, which I did not expect to get to. I am so into it. It's so emotional. My tabbing, the way I've done it is every blue moment is a funny moment. So as you can see, there's a lot of them. Every green moment is emotional, and every orange / whatever that is a spicy moment. There is a lot of comedy in this book and a lot of emotional moments, things I was not expecting us to really go in depth about, and it's really like I'm really attached to these characters, and I don't think I've been attached to characters like this since I read Wildside, which was a little while ago, last month, and I'm just loving it so much. I think that Hannah's writing is it's really captivated me, and I didn't expect that. Very much enjoying it, and I don't know, I might read a bit of this today as well, maybe get to page 200 and a bit. We'll see what I fancy doing, but I'm enjoying doing the tandem read because I'm not getting sick of either book. I'm just enjoying them. I keep welling up at the Crimson Moth, or Heartless Hunter as some places call it. Why am I nearly crying at every chapter? Every time we find out something about Rune's past or about Gideon's past, I just start crying, and I'm so attached to these characters. I'm actually 70% into this book, like I'm at page 303, and I think this is going to be my focus point for the rest of the day, is finishing this book. I've got like 100 pages left, and then I can move back over to Out on a Limb. But I'm so addicted to this book. I'm enjoying it so much. I'm loving the witches element. I'm loving the enemies to lovers, but like it's really giving, because it's like hatred to lovers, not just enemies. It's absolute hate. I just can't believe I've not read this sooner. Like, I'm just in shock. This is such an underrated book. I know it's got some hype, and some people are like, oh, you need to read it, but I really do not see the hype. Like, I see the hype with ACOTAR and everything. Like, so many people talk about ACOTAR. Those are not words. So many people talk about ACOTAR, so many people talk about Fourth Wing, but I literally never see anyone talk about Heartless Hunter or Crimson Moth. Like, I've seen maybe 2 of the YouTubers I watch talk about it, and I think I've already said this, but I'm not sure, but it's so refreshing to read a new style of writing. I'm impressed. That is the word to use. I am impressed. Crimson Moth, Heartless Hunter, whatever you want to call it. 5 star. 5 star. I've never felt so emotional about a fantasy. Like, I was crying. I was honestly biting my finger. Like, how do I explain this? I was literally like this going, crying. I was feeling all the feels I was not expecting to feel. People said it was going to be good. Dude, it broke me. I am very tempted to spend the 12 quid to get the next Kindle book, but I'm so stingy about it because I managed to get Crimson Moth for 99p. So spending 12 quid on a Kindle book, I'm like, it kind of hurts my soul a little bit. It was such a good book. So many twists and turns I didn't expect. The world building was brilliant, that like the way it was done, it wasn't boring or like it didn't drag. It was just done perfectly. I'd say that the world building was done better than Akatar ever was, better than Fourth Wing ever was. This book really just went into the story straight away. I thought it was unique. I thought it was a real enemies to lovers, like a real like hatred to lovers, and the romance story was so like realistic. I loved it. The stakes were so high. I loved the magic. I thought that every aspect that the author included was just necessary. Sometimes in fantasy I feel like they try and incorporate so many things and they're just not necessary to the storyline, whereas she included so much that just worked, and the way that she explained things just worked. It was easy to process, and I don't want to be confused in a book. I want to be like, okay, I'm following along. Like, I don't want to feel stupid. When a book makes me feel stupid, I just check out a bit. But it was so good. I was so hooked throughout the whole book, and I gave it a 5 stars. I'm going to start a new book. Now, I know I'm still reading Out on a Limb. I'm reading Out on a Limb right now still, but I'm halfway through it. I just don't know if I'm in the mood for a romance right now. I don't know if I want to start a bit of a fantasy. Now, I know I said I was going to read that Wish I Was Here book, but that's also a romance. So, I am debating reading a bit of this, see if I'm feeling it. Like, if I want to carry it on right now, if I want to carry it on tomorrow. And then, because I got a train ride tomorrow, so I could finish it tomorrow. I have picked a different book though, because I want to read on my Kindle for a bit. Phantasma by Kaylee Smith. I've never read anything by Kaylee Smith before. I've never really heard about this book. I've just seen that some booktubers recommended it, but they got it on Book of the Month. So I don't know if they were recommending it because they were recommending Book of the Month and they were sponsored, or if they actually did enjoy the book. I know little about it. All I know is that there's trials. So it's low-key giving Caraval, and as I've said so many times, I really hated Caraval. I found it was too YA for me. Like, it was just bleh. I didn't get to finish the series. Like, I've not read the last book, and I'm probably never going to. I'm tempted to read this because apparently the stakes are really high, and it's really like near-death experiences for these people. It seems like a very similar premise to Caraval, so maybe this author will do it right for me. I have finished the book. I finished it last night at like 2 in the morning, and I really did enjoy it. I gave it a 4-star overall, and I did find myself laughing at points, getting a bit emotional, and overall I did have a lot of fun reading this book. It had a very sweet storyline. However, there was some very serious plot lines involved. So there was a plot line around Beau's whole healthcare, which was a big topic. There was a lot of stuff about ableism, and also a lot of like internal like doubt, and a lot of like, am I really going to be able to do this with like stuff that I've got going on, and conditions that both of them had, and disabilities. That was a big topic, and like self-discovery was a big thing in this book, and self-acceptance. I thought the serious plot lines were handled really well, with loads of sensitivity, and possibly one of the best writers to handle sensitive plot lines. I thought that she did really well, and I was very impressed. I don't know if I said this at the start of the video or not, but I do not enjoy unexpected and unplanned pregnancy tropes. I just haven't found enjoyment ever. I enjoyed this, so that is a win in itself. I really enjoyed the trope. I thought it worked perfectly with these characters and like the point of the storyline. There was great communication in this book, like green flags all around. The characters were brilliant, the friendships were so good and so well developed, and I found myself laughing so much, and I felt like I was in on the jokes, I was in on the inside jokes, and I found it very funny, a lot of this book. Now, I only had 2 real problems with this book, and that was pacing and the length of the book. So in my opinion, I thought the pacing was a little bit slow after the first 40% of the book. That was all really greatly paced, and like it was very engaging. And then as we moved on past then, it kind of got a bit slow and a bit stagnant. So I did find that I started to feel like it was dragging a little bit past that 40% mark. So I thought that the plot kind of disappeared after like page 250. I feel like up to page 250 the plot was like really there, it was really plot driven and I really got the point of it. And then after page 250 it was kind of like, why aren't these characters together yet? It's not making sense to why they wouldn't pick up on each other's social cues and like wouldn't pick up on the flirting happening. Like, it was very strange at that point. I just felt like it was getting dragged out for no reason in a way. I just kind of felt like it could have been a lot shorter. For me, I don't think this book needed to be 400 pages. To me, I thought it could have been 300 and the whole book could have been wrapped up very concisely and nicely. I feel like 100 pages was definitely unnecessary, that extra 100 at the end. I did enjoy the epilogue. I did. However, I feel like the chapter after the epilogue, I didn't need that chapter. Like, I just feel like it didn't add anything to the story, and yeah, it was cute and everything, but a lot of the stuff that happened in that chapter I was just kind of like where it took place and everything, so I just didn't think that chapter was necessary. But overall I did enjoy. I thought that Beau's character was such a good character. He was really a gentleman and all the stuff he'd gone through in life was so heartbreaking, and the way that we found out about things he'd gone through was just so emotional. And so every time we found out something about Beau's past, it was like, oh, like, where did that come from? And it just felt so organic. I thought that Wynn's character was great and I liked that we got it all from her perspective. I just feel like it really worked with the storyline, because otherwise we'd already kind of know what Beau was going to say before it had happened, or like about his past. I feel like it wouldn't have shocked us as much and it wouldn't have like hit as hard as it did. But because it was all from Wynn's perspective, all of Beau's like, the word like admissions or Beau's like things that he ended up coming out with, basically, they wouldn't have hit as hard if it wasn't from Wynn's perspective. So when they all came out, all these like things that happened in his past and things he was currently struggling with, every single time it was like a gut punch. It was very good. Overall, really enjoyed it, and I definitely will continue reading Hannah Bonham Young. Definitely. I keep going to say Hannah Bonham Carter, but that's Helen Bonham Carter who played Bellatrix. I don't know why I keep saying that. I thought her book writing style was just, refreshing and I enjoyed. And I think that she just handled everything with a lot of sensitivity, and I appreciate that greatly. Like, yeah, the pacing kind of got a bit slow towards the end, but I liked the last 150 pages. But overall, I did have a good time. I'm going to move on to Phantasma today and hopefully get a good chunk read in the train. I don't know how much I'm going to get rid of this in this video, hopefully the whole thing. It's by Kaylee Smith. Never heard of Kaylee Smith. I know that the second book of Phantasma comes out this month, I think. Yeah, this month in April. It actually may already be out by the time this video is up, I'm not sure. I'll read some of this now, maybe at 50 pages and see if I'm vibing with it. But hopefully I will enjoy. I know that this one's like trials and very much like Caraval, like I think I said in another clip. However, I feel like this is meant to be more like an adult version of it, like a much more high-staked, deadly game. Welcome back to Liv's Car Adventures. I just wanted to talk about the book that I've currently started. I told you I started Phantasma. Is that what it's called? Phantasma? I keep going to say Fantasia, but that's a Disney thing. I'll be honest, it's not easy to get into. Like, I ain't got a clue what's happening, if I'm honest. It's all kind of gone over my head, and I like to think I'm quite like a good fantasy reader, to the point where like I can pick up on books quickly, like, and I can get into them quickly. I love to think that. However, compared to like Heartless Hunter or Crimson Moth as it's called in the UK, I feel like I just am not getting this book. I'm really lost. So right now we've got our main two characters. One's called Ophelia, which is kind of the perspectives that we're currently from right now. Ophelia is in this family of like, they're not witches, but they're like ghost seers. They can like speak to ghosts basically, and they can communicate with ghosts. He is doing this sort of like spell to get her mother's power basically, and so this spell transfers her mum's power to her, so that she is the head of the family now, so she has to kind of like look after the family and like continue the family line of magic. a day. It's been a day, and I have currently, well, I've swapped so many books. That's just Sam. I've swapped through so many books. No, you can do it.
Hello, I'm in focus now.
I've swapped through so many books. So we initially were reading Phantasma, and I got so lost. Like, I just don't know what was going on. Maybe I just wasn't in the vibe for it. I don't know. I felt the writing style just, I don't want to say irked me, but it did. Maybe a bit irritated, and I don't know if that's just me, but I just couldn't get into it. I felt like it was just all over the place. I didn't really know what was happening, and I got like 17 pages in, which isn't really much, and I was just really lost on what the storyline was happening, like what the storyline was doing, especially since I just finished Crimson Moth, like, and that was such a good book. Like, I was so hooked, like, honestly. So I kind of, in a way, you almost compare it to the last fantasy that you've read, and that was such a good read. That was a 5-star for me. So it had a lot of high expectations, and it just didn't meet them. So I just stopped with that book. I didn't want to book slump myself. Moved on to the next book, which was a completely different book. It was, what was it? Let me have a look. I'm pretty sure it was Anxious People by Frederick Buckman. Yeah, it was. And I got to page 37. Not terrible. I did struggle with this book. So this is the cover for Anxious People. The cover for Anxious People. I really just wasn't enjoying this book. I got 37 pages in, thought, you know, I'm gonna keep going with it, but the writing style just wasn't for me. So I did debate quite a few books I had already on my Kindle, because I really wanted to do a Kindle read. Oh, by the way, I have done a new like setup on my Kindle, so I'll probably put a picture up on my Instagram. Go follow my Instagram, because I do loads of updates on there. But I looked through some of the stuff I've got on here from people that I've never read from before. So I did have Blood of Hercules on here. I got that. There's The Serpent and the Wings at Night. Credence, which I know is a very controversial book. Some people hate it and some people enjoy it. Monica Murphy, The Things I Never Got Over, that whole series. Divine Rivals. I don't think I've read anything by that author. And then the one I ended up going with, though, was a book by Sarah Adams, which I've never read any of her stuff before, but I know she does like rom-coms. I also looked at Summer Romance, but somebody that I follow on Instagram was like, no, it's really cringy, so I didn't go with that one. But I'm currently reading When in Rome by Sarah Adams, and I am currently enjoying it. I'm at chapter 3, which is page 35. Not really that far into the book just yet, but I am enjoying it. I'm finding the vibe pretty good. So this is the cover. We have got our two characters. So we have, I think he's called Aiden. I may be very wrong. I think it's Noah, actually. Noah and Amelia. So here are our characters on the front. We've got Amelia and Noah, and so far we have found out that Amelia is a singer and she's a celebrity, and she's trying to get away from the limelight. She wants to get away from that lifestyle, and so she decided to go on a little road trip and go to like a bed and breakfast place and just try and be normal, not have crazy fans trying to get her attention all the time. And so when she's on her way, her car breaks down and she is stuck in the middle of nowhere, and this grumpy guy is like, what are you doing? And she's like, why are you in my business? And he's like, well, you're kind of parked in my field and I own this field, so, you know, you're ruining my grass. And it's like, oh, okay, you can understand why he's grumpy. And he knows who she is. Like, he's kind of been like, is this you? And said who she is, but he doesn't care. Like, he's not bothered, and she is shocked but so happy that she's finally met somebody who is not obsessed with her, who is not trying to like get a signature or an autograph from her. Like, she is so happy to just be seen as like a normal person. So they've got this back and forth between them, that she is like really protective of herself because she's used to having a security team around her, and so she was very reluctant to get out of the car when he was trying to help her, which in this instance it made so much sense because obviously she'd had crazy fans and things in the past, so she doesn't want to get out of the car and really talk to this stranger. That's happening. You've got our guy who really just can't be bothered with somebody being on his grass, like, because it's ruining his field. And also we've kind of found out that he's had a bad relationship with somebody who also was like passing through town. It says how, like, on the blurb, I remember it saying like eventually obviously she's gonna have to go back to her old life, but does he really fit in with her life? And it's like there is actually going to be like a conflict, which in this instance I can understand why it would happen. Very, very excited to carry on this book, and I am getting the rom-com vibes. I feel like I'm just vibing with Sarah Adams' writing a bit more. I feel like I really need to vibe with the writing to really like enjoy myself. So I'm gonna read a good chunk of this today, hopefully. maybe it's 100 pages in or something, we will see, but hopefully I can get a bit further into this book. It's quite a few days later, my hair is wet, it is so late, and tomorrow I go to France, so I am very quickly filming this little clip. I finished the book. I finished When in Rome, I think that's what it's called. I loved it so much. I was expecting a cutesy little fluffy romance, and oh my god, this book had so much depth. There was so much to it that was just so meaningful. I mean, we had these two characters that clearly had been through a lot, and she was a pop star, she was a singer, and very much in the public eye and wanted to get away from everything. And he was somebody who had had his heart broken by somebody who had come through the town before for like just as a pit stop. And it was just such a beautiful story about these two people who tried everything they could to not get together, and they just couldn't stop like this pull of attraction between them. They just were so drawn to one another, and there was really a lot of like found family involved and a lot of deeper topics involved too, and I loved it all. I really enjoyed the story. All the plot twists I just didn't see coming. I thought that there was a lot of very adult topics in this book as well, which I really liked. There was no spice in it at all, and I think that's kind of like a theme with this person's I can't remember what her name was, but I think she's called Sarah Adams, that might be right. Sarah Adams' writing is a theme that she doesn't write spice, I'm pretty sure, but I really liked that. It was really refreshing to not read spice, like it'd be hinted that it happened off page, which I actually kind of enjoyed. It was really refreshing. Again, I think I've said that about every book in this video. The writing has just been so refreshing. It's just been so different to anything that I've read before. So I gave that book a 4.5 star. Really, really loved it. Really impressed me, and I really wasn't expecting much. I thought it was like a really overhyped book at first, and I read it, and honestly this book was just so brilliant, so sweet, and I loved it so much. But yes, I'll see you guys soon with another video. I think my next one is on Thursday, so enjoy, subscribe to all that stuff, and I'll see you guys soon. I enjoyed filming this video so much, like so much.